What's up? This is the Violent Casket, home to the lamest taste. You can check me out on Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube, as well as on TikTok, all at the Violent Casket. One word. Subscribe, like, and comment. Hit the bell for much more. We are doing a Casket book review, which, if you've been tuning into these for the last, I want to say, 2 years now, year and a half. If you, okay, cool. I don't know what that is. You should be expecting recently. Oh, wrong one. Recently, you should be expecting me to review this. Or if you've been tuning in for a while, you should be expecting me to review this. But I haven't gotten to these because I got sidetracked by this. If you don't know, this is Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson, also known as The Final Empire or Mistborn, The Final Empire. It is the first book in a trilogy called the Mistborn Original Trilogy. There's also a second Mistborn series of 4 books called Era 2. That's also considered Era 1. This book came out July 17th, 2006. Followed by Well of Ascension, which I'm currently reading, in 2007, and The Hero of Ages in 2008, which is over there on the bookshelf. I had been hearing about Brandon Sanderson for a while, about maybe 2 years ago when I started to get into books again and started to get into fantasy. I heard all about The Wheel of Time, as well as the Amazon original show that was about to come out at that time. So I did research, and I saw the series was so big, and then I saw that there was a separate writer for the last 3 books, and I was very confused. So I just pushed it aside, and I never got into it. Instead, I dived into someone I knew, Holly Black, from reading her original trilogy in high school, and then I do plan on eventually reading this. And then I got into Ninth House and then followed all of Lee Bardugo's other stuff, including this. But recently, I guess there's a new book coming out for the Stormlight Archives, and that inspired everything on my feeds to be about this guy. So did a little bit of research. I got very excited. I recruited one of my friends, and we decided to tandem read these together. So I've gotten Brandon Sanderson Mistborn, book 1 of the original trilogy, Mistborn The Final Empire, out of the way. And honestly, guys, I love this book. I love this book. I'll go straight out, just tell you my rating right away. My rating is a 4.9 out of 5. It could be 5, but I heard it just gets better and better. These are larger books that I'm used to reading. I am a slow reader, and I have been challenging myself to get better and more proficient in it. But these are the biggest books I've taken on. I think the biggest book previously, maybe high 4s, right? Because this is like high 4s, maybe goes into the 5s. Like this book goes into the 5s. I think it's the biggest book of the series. But this is like easily in the 5s, and this goes even deeper in, and then the Stormlight Archives are in the 1000s. So this is very unique and different for me. It was a challenge. It was very off-putting, but honestly, the first chunk of this book is a little slow. The character development is really good, but it's really painstakingly detailed and slow. And it's good. It is a good pacing, but it's just kind of like you feel like you're getting a lot and you're not getting a lot of reward out of it. But then when that switch is flipped, this book spirals into a crazy build, and then you get to a point where you're like, how could this book end? Like, when is this book gonna be end? Like, I don't feel like I'm anywhere near an ending. And then a whole bunch of stuff. I did write spoilers, but I don't want to spoil this too much because I do want everyone to read this book. It just gets so wild. and to slowly go into this, because I don't want this to be a massive review, these books, these multiple series, as long as standalones, exist in Brandon Sanderson's universe called the Cosmere. If you want that explained in a film perspective, it's kind of like the Askew-verse for Kevin Smith. How there's the Jay and Silent Bob movies, and then there's the Clerks movies, but you also have the standalones like Dogma, Chasing Amy, Mallrats. Like, you have these other movies that fit into that universe that happen in relevant spaces of the other ones, but the other ones are trilogies and series. It's kind of like that, and it's very interesting. So everyone's suggesting, including the author himself, who's very invested in his fan base, to start with this book. And I loved it. I can't believe that people claim his writing gets more in depth as the Stormlight comes on, as you get into Stormlight. And I can't believe it, because at the end of this book, I was like very impressed. And obviously I don't want to review this already, but I'm maybe almost 200 pages into this book, and out of like almost 6, and it is incredible. Like, even the first like couple chapters were a little slow, because you're kind of reestablishing where you left off, because there is like a whole year's like gap between this and that. But it's amazing, like his writing, the way first off, let's talk about Allomancy. Allomancy is like the magic system that involves metals. The way he describes it, and the way he like slowly perfects and expands on it, like every fight, every interaction, every lesson is like the main character Vin is learning, but you're also learning. It's like you're in her shoes and you're getting the same experience she is. And that's the way it's written. It's like kind of weird until you sit back and you're like, wow, I just got slapped in the face with all this knowledge. Like, what? And it makes sense. That's the crazy part. Is like you're with almost too much information and you're like, how does this make sense to me? Like, how did I just get overloaded and I understand? Really good, great story, great pacing, amazing characters. There's real like risk and reward, and the class system is cool. There's a rebellion in here. There's thieves. There's upper class. There's all sorts of, like, as you get deeper, there's all sorts of creatures that you don't even know about until the end. There's like a very vast amount of stuff going on in this book. Like, and this book could have been a standalone, and I would have loved it. I don't want this video to go too long. I don't want to make a 10-minute video, so I'm going to end it about here. But if you guys want me to make another video going into all my favorite things about this book, I'll do it. But obviously, my favorite character is Elle. I can't say his real name. It's Elle Venture, Elend. He is so cool. Marsh at the end is amazing, and I think he's getting weirder and weirder in the next book. And I do love Vin. I think she did a great job of like portraying who she needed to be. And this book has a little bit of everything. If you're into like class systems and like medieval kind of stuff, and then you're into like magic and fighting and weird like rebellion, and then there's like raising an army, and then the plot shifts are crazy. It's just a really interesting book. It has a little bit of everything. If you're into fantasy, whether it be YA, fairy fantasy, any of that, I think you will like this. After like halfway through, you'll be like, oh wait, this is really, really good. Audiobook, regular book, I highly suggest this. 4.9. I just want to leave room for the next couple books to be even higher. I don't know. I think I might break the scale. I love this. I love his writing, and I can't wait to get more invested. That is it. This is Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson, also known as The Final Empire. Some editions will be called The Final Empire. Some will be called Mistborn Final Empire. Some will just be Mistborn. But it's all published by Tor Books. I highly suggest getting into this. It is amazing. Thank you guys so much. Get in the comments. Let's discuss this. Remember, this is the Violent Casket, home to lamest taste. You should be on Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube, where you can subscribe, like, and comment. Hit the bell for much, much more. And do me a massive favor and stay lame.